So back in Japan, another main event. What does this fight mean to you? Obviously, had a couple losses recently. Do you feel, any added pressure compared to maybe any of your other fights, or do you just approach it the exact same way?
No, you approach it the same exact way. You just go out there and fight. My biggest thing is I prefer to fight like 6 times a year. So, like, you're going to win some, lose some. It's just like a professional sport. Like, I mean, you can have football, you can have this is a rebuilding year. No, this is, you kind of go back and forth. I prefer to fight more because the more times you fight, the more likely you're more wins you're gonna have. Versus like there's some guys that fight once every 2 years, And I'm a guy that just likes to be active. I just like to go out and fight.
Yeah, and what do you make of the fact that you're back-to-back fights against kind of Pride legends in Japan? Why do you think you're the guy that they put in the spot?
I guess maybe it's because of my fan base. I have a very big international fan base, and apparently this is the second time headlining in Japan, so apparently I'm getting a little bit bigger and bigger.
Definitely. And what do you make of Josh at this point? Like you said, some guys only fight once every couple of years. It's been a while for him since he last fought, and it was a quick loss to Travis Brown. Do you think he's still, the guy who's on top of his game, or do you see some decline when you look at him?
No, I think usually after a guy like Josh that's been top of the game for such a long time, it's probably the scariest time to fight a guy is coming off a loss. When you're fighting a guy with a win, they're just like, I got another win, and then they're not worried about like, am I going to lose, or anything like that. But a guy coming off a loss is actually more dangerous than a guy off a win.
And kind of change topics a bit. I heard you're looking to do some stand-up comedy over in Vegas. Is this true?
Of course, I'm always trying to work on my stand-up game. Anytime I can try to make somebody laugh or entertain them, I'm all about it.
Got any material for us yet, or still working on it?
The reason why I got to do stand-up is I work for the UFC, so now you know why I have to do a career change.
What do you mean by that?
See, but you're laughing, so it doesn't really matter what I mean or not.
Just to change topics a little bit, I know you've talked about ad nauseum over the years wanting to get that title shot finally. Does it frustrate you when you see Cain Velasquez lose pretty dominantly and get an immediate rematch?
I don't really have any say in that. It's not my policy. I mean, it's like USADA's, or it all depends. I mean, it's frustrating from a fighter standpoint where you're like, dude, the only reason why you only have 2 of the same guys fighting is because they're the only ones fighting. Where like in boxing, it'd be like, no, we're gonna do a bid, number 2 guy, or we're gonna do this, and that's why there's still that's where you have to throw in like how the UFC even started. The best thing about what made UFC the bread and butter of UFC and even Pride was the tournament. It didn't matter because you could have a bad year, and then all of a sudden it always reset, just like any major sport. Baseball, football, basketball. Guess what? I could go 82-0 in basketball, and I made the playoffs. I got the number. I got the worst seed I got the best seed, and I'm going against the worst seed. I lose that first 4 games.
It's over.
I'm over. Didn't matter. I went 82-4 or 82-4. I'm not a champ, and that's the beauty is like with at this high level of professional sports. It's not like boxing. Boxing, there's a lot of guys that will use Mayweather. I'm going to pick that guy to fight that guy just because I want to make sure I'm going 49-0. If I'm not fighting number 2 guy in the world. If I'm number 1, I should be fighting number 2, number 3. Not, was it number 10, 11, 12, or 15, 30. But usually, it's not a... In boxing, you get to pick and choose. In MMA, it's like, no, we're going to put the best of the best, and we're going to fight. And you're going to have a good day, you're going to have a bad day. That's why I prefer to fight 6 times a year, because if you go 4 times, 3 times, or do a tournament, that's the reason why I like, good for Scott Coker and Bellator doing that one-man tournament. Because as you saw, it would have been really, really awesome to see Phil and mow the wall. But the thing is, you got hurt. You got to, he had it was a bad day. Phil had an awesome day. But you throw that down, 2 months down the road, probably different. Mo could have had a different matchup. Mo would have had an awesome day, and Phil would have had a kind of oh man, I broke my hand on his face because I hit him so freaking hard. So he can't continue. So it just changes. That's a dynamic, and that's the reason why fans watch that stuff. And that's the one thing about fans I love, is because fans actually get it. And I understand fans, because I wouldn't be where I'm not today if I didn't, if I wasn't an MMA fan myself. And you have to be an MMA fan to understand our sport.
And you mentioned kind of the ups and downs of sports, wins, losses always come. Does the fact that you have the most fight night bonuses in the history of this weight class, does that the fact that you're exciting constantly, is that what reinforces all this stuff and makes you keep going and gives you this perspective? Is that you're one of the most exciting guys out there?
No, the thing is I just go out there and try to perform. I try to go out there and make the fans enjoy what they're doing. I enjoy what I do. And I can look in the mirror, and I gave 110%. As long as I did that, I can look in I'm happy.